I'm going to do a little video just to help get some movement in the upper back. I've seen quite a lot of people recently, unsurprisingly, excuse me, that have real desk posture. So remember, and take breaks from your computer or at home. Set yourself little reminders. Get up and walk at least every half an hour to 40 minutes, okay? And give this little routine a go. So we're gonna start off just with some basic arm floats. So check out your body position. Just have your feet under your hips. Soften your knees a little bit. Check out where your pelvis is. So kind of arch it back, arch it under, back and under. Okay, try and find your neutral. Lengthen your tailbone to the floor and feel like it's slightly curling underneath you. Drop your shoulder blades down your back, and while you're trying to open the chest out, remember to keep that expansion in the back as well, so we don't end up with this real military type posture. Okay, arm floats coming up. Let your breath come in wide into your shoulder blades. I've just realized I've got a hole into my arm in this shirt. Ignore. And then coming down to the sides. Breathing in. One trick I sometimes find when I start my warm-up like this, that I find it quite difficult to get breadth into my rib cage, and if you anchor down a little bit more with your left heel and be more conscious of anchoring on your left side, kind of helps you a little bit. There is an explanation for that, but I won't get into that right now. Okay, and then just having your arms lengthen away, just rotate your hands up to the ceiling. Come all the way back round, up to the ceiling, all the way around. So making sure you're not hiking your shoulder blades up as you come through. Try and really feel the stretch all the way up your arms. So good to kind of mobilize all of those muscles, so you can kind of do this clock face with your hands. Really trying to get everything moving. It's really good. Kind of just do waves with your hands. Okay, and then holding on to the edge of your armpit here, okay? And it's your pec muscle, and I just want you to just gently, just so my fingers are just like, how are you going to see that? Like that. So you're not gripping too hard, okay? You're just creating a little bit of an edge. And I just want you to reach away a little bit. You can go up. Oh, it's nasty. Go slow. Oh. Go really gently and slowly. You only want to contact muscle tissue. You don't want to get right underneath and hit the nerves. There's a lot of really delicate tissue in there. And you can anchor onto your ribs. Oh, that feels so good. Lengthen your chin away at an angle. Obviously, if you've got neck pain. So do a few different angles. Don't repeat too much to one point. If you're getting neck pain and this kind of hurts into it, then don't go all the way. You don't want to compress anything that's unhappy. Right, do a little bit on the other side. Really letting your breath out. Anchor with that left foot if you're shifting away. Oh, doesn't need a lot. You might want to use a flatter hand on these bits underneath for this length up. Okay, great. So you got a little bit more kind of movement through here. You need to do a bit on that side too. Sorry, I forgot about that. Okay, then we're going to really, again, drop your knees a little bit, feel the weight in your heels. I want you to rock onto the balls of your feet and just bring your arms forward a little bit as if you're going in for a cuddle. And then turn your hands down to the floor. Keep going like a corkscrew, coming up through your elbows and your shoulders. Again, not so that it's bringing those up. And then bend your elbows so that you end up in this position here, okay? So I really want to bring my shoulders up. So I really want to kind of keep the slight bend in my feet. I'm going to try and anchor myself more in my pelvis by tucking under a bit more. I'm really letting my breath out. Okay, and now I'm pushing down. I'm pushing like the floor away. I'm pulling as if my armpits are coming down to my hips. It's really helping to get my shoulder blades away from my ears. I'm really activating up the back of my body, which is getting me away from this dominant front side. Really letting my breath out and anchoring here. So letting that connect into my lower pelvis. Fantastic. Okay. And we're just going to do a couple of breaths here. So in for 3. Out for 6. In for 3. Out for 6. One more, in for 3. Out for 6. Pause. Okay, and then you're going to try and expand your rib cage without breathing. So breathing out, I'm going to go into the ballerina, into a hip hinge, sorry. And I'm pressing on my thighs here. Okay. So I'm really lengthening from the top of my head to my tailbone. I'm really focused. I really cheat in my pelvis. I just want to kind of let my pelvis tip forward and stick my butt out. So really focus on keeping your tailbone tucked if that's also you. Lengthening through the top of your head. Draw your armpits to your hips. Breathe out, connect those lower ribs. A little bit into the balls of the feet. So you're really working through that back line of the legs. 5, 6, in for 3. 5, 6, in for 3. 5, 6. Pause and expand the rib cage. Breathing out. Fantastic. I'm going to come back up to standing. I'm going to come back up to standing level 1. Sweetheart. Really push away as if you're pushing a wall in front of you away. Soft knees. Drop into the balls of your feet. Armpits down to your sides. So it just changes the intensity a little bit so you don't have to go through, because sometimes these hip hinge ones can be really intense if you struggle to get the air into the upper back. So again, we're going with this 3-6 breathing. And pause. And expand your ribs. We're going to come down onto the floor. I'm just going to grab my foam roller. So you can still see me, which is fab. Okay, so I'm just going to squeeze the foam roller a little bit behind me. There we go, you've still got me in shot. Okay, and what we want to do is keep the squeeze on through here. Okay, so you're really working your hamstrings. I really need to get that tuck, and you might need to too. And I just want you to think about the breath moving into your back. You're giving a little bit of space. So you don't need to really round your back, but you're just giving it enough space for the air to move through there. Okay. And I'm just holding this for 5 breaths. So I'm not doing any abdominal vacuuming on this one. We're going to alternate with activating in this way and getting the breath moving into our back, with then getting the abdominal vacuum as well. It's really hard work. I really like this exercise, and I'll tag the person that I got this from in the course that I'm doing. I'm coming down, sweetheart. Okay, so I'm going to let that drop for a minute. I'm going to come down, rest on my hand. So this is going to be an abdominal vacuum. As you can see, my cat likes to get involved. So I'm now one long straight line. Again, I'm slightly tucked. I'm lengthening from my tailbone to the top of my head. Okay, I'm going to tuck my toes up, and I'm pressing my arms into the floor. My hands are like a diamond, and my head's resting on my hands. And I'm going to do the 3-6 breathing, pause, and then vacuum, inhale and exhale. Great. I'm going to come back into my Nordic bear plank. So, okay, got that? So your hips are slightly forward of your knees, okay? Really, I'm tucking my tail because that's what I need. I'm squeezing the foam roller. I'm just going to move back again because I've shifted. Okay, and I'm focusing on keeping that squeeze, and I'm focusing on really dropping and connecting my ribs to my pelvis and getting the air into my back from me, particularly my left side. I might not look like I'm doing very much, but you will see this is hard work. I lost my tuck. I just got my tuck back. I can really feel that working in my lower abs. I can feel it working in my hamstrings. Okay, and I'm going to come down and do the last hyperpressive position here. Okay, and so here your arms are more of a diamond and your head's coming in front of your arms.
okay? So that you're a little bit further back. You kind of end up getting more up here. Make your body long. I'm going to focus on keeping that little bit of a tuck. I'm going to put my toes up. I'm pressing my forearms down. I'm thinking my shoulder blades, my armpits down to my hips. Three, 6.
Coming up. Okay, stretch out if you need to. It's pretty intense, that last one. I'm pretty tight up here, so I really feel like in that top position, I can really feel that working. But for me, that's one of the reasons I open my arms a little bit. And if I kind of turn onto the outside of my hands, it's like I'm pressing down that way, so it gives me open stretch through here. And you can play around with that as well. And if it feels too much, like change the position of your arms. You don't have to be up that high. If you take it further down closer to 90 degrees and still really press your hands down, you'll still get that same working benefit. Yeah. So we're going to do one more Nordic bear plank. After that, let's see how I'm doing to keep my tuck and get my breath moving. Okay, so keeping my tuck. And again, like I'm feeling it in the top of my chest through here. I'm really tight, so I am kind of coming onto the outside of my hands. So feel as if I'm kind of squeezing, trying to make a fold in the carpet here. And at the same time, that's kind of opening out this bit, so my shoulder's away from my sternum. So I'm squeezing on this, I'm getting my tuck, my rib cage is integrated. I'm trying to make a fold in the carpet. All the way out. One more breath. Fantastic. Okay, right. I'm going to turn around and use the sofa. It's kind of at an angle, so I'm going to have to whiz around a little bit. You can still see. Let me just angle the camera. Dish, dish, dish. So I call this one kind of like a reverse wall bear plank. Okay, so I'm pressing my heels into the sofa, and a bit like where I, oops, I'm always going to drop the foam roller once on your head, right? A bit like where I created the fold in the carpet, I'm pressing on the foam roller and getting this idea of like a bulldog clip. So like you squeeze the bulldog clip at the front, at the top, and it opens the other bit, right? So we're opening out the shoulders here, and then also trying to get the breath into the back. Okay, I'm pressing into the couch and giving myself a little bit of a lift. And I find that cue in the hyperpressives really helpful, that getting your shoulder, your armpits down to your hips, that really changes things for me. So I do that here as well. This isn't a hyperpressive exercise. We're not going to do any abdominal vacuuming here.